This is the Everyday AI Show, the everyday podcast where we simplify AI and bring its power to your fingertips. Listen daily for practical advice to boost your career, business, and everyday life.
When we talk about AI, a lot of that talk is often on job displacement and, will AI take my job? And, although there may be job displacement, I think we don't talk enough about what happens on the other side of that and how AI can actually create new economic opportunities in your city. It's something I'm extremely excited to talk about today on Everyday AI. What's going on, y'all? My name's Jordan. I'm the host of Everyday AI, and this is for you. We are your daily guide to learning and leveraging generative AI to grow your company and grow your career. So we do this every single day. So make sure if you're listening for the first time, go to youreverydayai.com, sign up for our free daily newsletter where we recap our conversation and our expert guest interview each and every day. So before we get started, let's do as we always do and tell you what's going on in the world of AI news. All right. So first, DeepMind and Harvard researchers have teamed up for an impressive AI discovery with rats. So DeepMind has developed a computerized rat with an artificial brain using movement data from real rats. The virtual rat could lead to breakthroughs in neuroscience research. So this virtual rat has biologically realistic and an accurate brain, making it a valuable tool for studying brain function and behavior. The digital model opens up opportunities for further AI simulations and research into neural circuits and brain disease. All right, we're going on the other side for our second piece of AI news because we have another new Sora competitor. So Luma AI has launched Dream Machine, a powerful AI text-to-video tool capable of generating videos from simple text descriptions. So the system aims to revolutionize the video production industry by making it more accessible and efficient. So yes, this is literally the second major competitor to OpenAI's Sora, but Sora is not yet released to the public. So earlier this week, we talked about Kling, which is only accessible right now if you have a valid Chinese phone number. However, this new tool, Dream Machine from Luma AI, is available now for everyone. So it's actually very impressive and is already Sora quality, which is actually kind of concerning because people are looking at it and saying, okay, this is actually could fool a lot of people. It'd be used for deepfakes, misinformation, disinformation, etc. However, you can generate up to 120 frames in 120 seconds, so about 4 seconds of video in 2 minutes. However, users are reporting right now it's taking more than an hour at time for generating just because of crazy demand. So we'll have a link so that you can check that out in our newsletter. Last but not least, Parliament could be getting a new AI member. So a digital avatar named AI Steve is running for a seat in the British Parliament. The avatar is based on a real person, entrepreneur Steve Endicott, and is programmed to generate policy suggestions and collect input from potential constituents. So AI technology, like I said, is now being used in politics, and AI Steve is created by a company called Neural Voice and is programmed to generate policy suggestions and collect input from potential constituents. All right, well, hey, is that a politician that will now be forced to actually listen to its constituents? We'll have to wait and see. All right, but let's get into today's show. I'm extremely excited to have an industry veteran with us today on Everyday AI. So please help me welcome to the show. There we go. We have Xiaochen Zhang, who is the Chief Responsibility AI Officer and Executive Director of AI 2030. Xiaochen, thank you for joining the Everyday AI Show.
Thank you, and it's a great honor to just come back. Yeah.
Hey, Xiaochen was so good. We had to come back. We talked probably about a year ago about AI and startups, and now we have a completely new and very important conversation to have today. Xiaochen, before we get started, tell everyone a little bit about your background and a little bit about AI 2030.
Absolutely, and currently, as what John mentioned, that I'm running AI 2030. Our main mission is trying to mainstream responsible AI and to realize the potential of AI in the meantime to minimize the negative impact of AI to humanity. And then before that, I was the global head of innovation and go-to-market at AWS. I also worked for organizations like World Bank, United Nations, and taught in universities, and started my own startup called FinTech for Good 7 or 8 years ago, and with the main role to just build emerging technology-based ventures. Yeah.
Yeah. So just decades of experience. Yeah. So, now has this huge group called AI 2030, some of the brightest minds in artificial intelligence. And, even Xiaochen working in go to market with, Amazon Web Services, you know a lot about innovation. So with that in mind, because I think let's just answer that big elephant, right? The big elephant in the room is, I think, when people think about artificial intelligence and generative AI, a lot of times they think of job loss, right? And people say, oh, is AI going to take my job? So, I mean, what is the answer to that? And, maybe let's talk about the flip side too, on the new economic opportunities.
Yeah, and the answer is yes. AI is going to replace your job, and the traditional sense of job security doesn't exist anymore. And any job potentially can be replaced by AI, and that's ranging from the CEO of the company to really the technical person to just even the janitor in the office building. So every job there is a risk that that job will be replaced. But then there's the emergence of AI and or machine and human collaborative intelligence. This is the future where that any job will be redesigned, and that redesign is happening already now. And according to the IMF report, that over 80 some million of jobs will be replaced, but by 2025 alone. And but of course that from the new jobs will emerge with AI, and again from IMF report, that number is over 90 million, and which is just by 2025. As you can see, that AI can be called as a double sword in the specifically job market, and if we apply that at the city level, and then the mayors and also the city governments need to really answer that question. Do you want your city to just really, be the city impacted heavily negatively by AI? See that, majority of the jobs in the city disappear, or that no new job emerge in my city, or you want to, better prepare to see that although, there are jobs are replaced, but, we have more jobs created, for citizens. I think that's naturally, there are a lot of things can be done to prepare the city, for the future revolution. Yeah.
Yeah, and important studies out Jen just mentioned there. We'll be sure to share that in today's newsletter about the International Monetary Fund, and it says up to 60% of jobs in the West could be impacted by 2025, which is wild to think about. That's less than 2 years away, the end of 2025. What should Xiaochen, both business and city leaders, be looking to do, right? Because it seems like it's been this scramble the past year to understand, generative AI and to actually put it to use. But what can city and business leaders be doing to make sure that they are creating opportunity on the back end and not just focusing on productivity?
Yeah, that's the start from the business, and then city actually, the strategy for city is very similar to the business. And number one for the business leader is that really need to have a strategy. And I had many conversations with CXOs of the business, and a lot of them really just don't have enough, either preparation or in terms of resourcing the right people. They themselves are not resourcing themselves to get ready to have a new type of strategy. And just 2 days ago in Houston at Houston Convention, I was sharing with all the energy related leaders and energy, oil, gas, and one of the key things that the most important AI model is the business model. So you can imagine that now that a lot of business are trying to just say, hey, if we can just bring open AIs or other generative model into my business, that's it. But that's really not it, and it can create a lot of problem. You still don't have a sustainable competitiveness and all that. Really, the number one things that really look into, your AI strategy. We think that the AI strategy, number one is really, to look into your human resources and say, do you have the chief AI officer? And do you have people who, can give you that strategy and bring the technology and business models together to redesign what are the new opportunities and what are the existing opportunities you are going to lose, and then define what will be the first, the near-term steps and a long-term step. And very similar to a city. And, I was at MIT's AI Summit, and there I learned that Massachusetts State, and for example, introduced $100 million, AI budget, and established a public-private sector collaboration on like an AI task force, and then to really define how to leveraging this public budget to unlock more opportunity from the private sector budget, and then to just really build a strategy which can keep Massachusetts as continue to be a leader in AI. Similarly, that you can just look into, again, I was back for the Texas Social Enterprise Award, where that's this is also state level to recognize the type of innovation which can really just match the demand with the supply, and a lot of those supply are AI driven. Come back to where I stay in Illinois and Chicago, and from backdoor there's a lot of actions taking by the state and the city government, and try to understand what are the impact and who can just help city and the state to do better planning, and who can really just taking that plan and then to just support the operation of the plan, bring new additional resources and human capital and technology into solving the city related problems. Yeah.
And hey, as a reminder to our live stream audience, we have Xiaochen Zhang with us from AI 2030. So if you have questions, I think of all the people I've met, he is one of the brightest minds in artificial intelligence and how businesses can impact it. So Xiaochen, something that you kind of referenced there is, different cities have different focuses, right? So, as an example, if we talk about, New York, we might think of, finance and real estate. In LA, we think of entertainment, and, Houston, we think of energy. So, when it comes to specific cities that have a main industry, I feel that AI both has the potential to be very disruptive, yet at the same time can be extremely explosive in a good way, especially when a city has a specific industry that it focuses on. So how can leaders, especially when there is kind of a main driver in a city, how can they use AI to actually create those new economic opportunities?
Are you still running in circles trying to figure out how to actually grow your business with AI? Maybe your company has been tinkering with large language models for a year or more, but can't really get traction to find ROI on Gen AI. Hey, this is Jordan Wilson, host of this very podcast. Companies like Adobe, Microsoft, and NVIDIA have partnered with us because they trust our expertise in educating the masses around generative AI to get ahead. And some of the most innovative companies in the country hire us to help with their AI strategy and to train hundreds of their employees on how to use Gen AI. So whether you're looking for ChatGPT training for thousands or just need help building your front-end AI strategy, you can partner with us too. just like some of the biggest companies in the world do. Go to youreverydayai.com/partner to get in contact with our team, or you can just click on the partner section of our website. We'll help you stop running in those AI circles and help get your team ahead and build a straight path to ROI on Gen AI.
Yeah, so that's a very good question because number one is that AI is going to impact all industry, and so then naturally, from the city planning side, where that's within your main industry, and how can you keep the competitive, make it competitive in the future. And again, go back to my trip in Texas. That was a very specific focus in the oil, gas, and energy industry. And the number one thing, the both the business and the public civil servants need to just be aware of is that this industry, number one is that the traditional business model will disappear. And many times if you have a main industry, and which means this main industry is serving existing customers, you have the current need, the current demand, the current priorities, which may drive you close eye for future-oriented planning and resourcing. And I think number one thing for the both public and private sector is to really understand and also balance the short-term and the long-term goal, and really just from that balance, basically to just include AI-related impact business model design as a priority. And as of now, still, from many conversations that business leaders in those major industry, in those cities, and still have not realized how much and then their own industry is going to be impacted by AI. They're still trying to solve the current customer problems that they are solving well today. So I think that's number one, which is critical. Number two is really identifying who are your external innovators you can collaborate with. And during the AI age, naturally that controllability will be very different. Many businesses don't have controllability of their fate. And for example, if in your industry that large language model is the only way that you can just reinventing your business, and naturally that's a foundational model. There are only very few organizations can just working on foundational model. Naturally, you will lose the control. So how can you just be comfortable by making your decision and together with working in collaboration with the innovators outside of your organization? How can you design a process to engage externally, bring that insights and that new business model into your business? That becoming important. And the third part, which is also important, again, go back to people, where that's I heard so many times at a technical level, where that's people who are excited about AI, they are not enabled by their leadership to just taking on actions. And I give you example every day, and I receive at least 20 to 30 email or requested. There are great talent who want to join AI 2030 because they cannot do the type of job and interact with type of expertise on AI. They got frustrated. They want to push the boundary, but they are not incentivized. They are not enabled, empowered to do so. I think that is just a missing opportunity for many of the businesses.
Another thing, Xiaochen, that I think about, especially when it comes to local economic opportunity, right? Because I feel so much of the conversation around generative AI is either job displacement or productivity, right? But I think that AI has the potential to solve many problems that local communities or cities have faced and maybe have been unable to address. As an example, traffic, crime, safety, etc. How do you see that playing out, once kind of city leaders can understand and actually leverage the technology? But how do you see that playing out at the city level on how AI can actually help solve some of these problems?
Yeah, I will just go to, the upcoming Chicago AI conference. The reason I mentioned that is this is exactly where when you talk about any other, type of conference, and it can only focus on one thing. But because you are talking about AI, naturally it impacts the oil industry. So we have business leaders, who will talk about how AI is transforming banking. And then we have leaders who talk about, how AI is just reinventing the real estate. And then we have also leaders who talk about, how AI is helping them to just do media content creation different. So as you can see from the examples where there are a lot of interesting use cases and stories and success for use cases already being tested by many of the industry business leaders. And just from the city side, that how can you just really bring those use cases together from different industry and informing and bring together other type of ecosystem players and formulate a collaborative model, getting them, to working together. I think that would be the key. And because by the end of the day, that's every, industry leader think that they are empowered or they are being impacted by AI. Naturally, AI is something, bigger than a small individual company. And I think from the public sector, how you can bring businesses together, that becoming a unique asset. And I see that for city and the state government, and a unique competitive advantage is that if a city or a state government designed a process and also have a methodology to systematically bring in mind from the academic system to the together with the industry leaders from across industry together, and then to formulate new business models and new exciting early stage pilot task. And I think that will just help the city to remain to be competitive in the future.
You bring up a super interesting angle there, Xiaochen, kind of how cities need to kind of really find and exploit that competitive advantage and to use AI to design a process around it. So it almost sounds similar like a go-to-market strategy, right? Like tapping into your background there at AWS. Is that how cities should be looking at AI? Like it is a brand new kind of product or service that they're bringing to their local economy, and should they kind of be taking a similar approach as a company with a big new product or service going to market?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think then we go back to city need to redefine what is your brand, and what is the main card you have to play. And if you have that brand, you want to see how that brand being impacted by AI, and then you need to design new products, and which is at a city level, that's basically is still this industry or it's a different industry. And if by the end of the day, city also need to understand what is the key problems that my city, the industry or business in my city help to solve. That those customer problems and citizen problems are changing, and with the emerging technology, and then to define, understand that that's the problem, and align the right business or solution or innovators together to really design and deploy new solutions becoming important. And there, that's yeah, as what you said, city and the state need to really have people who can help the city to really do go to market, to enhancing that brand, to bring together the right stakeholders, and also bring them together to do the right things, and then that can help the city to remain competitive, remain just provide quality citizen services in the future.
A great question here from Sean, saying so Sean, thanks for joining us from YouTube, saying any advice on how to bring along city leaders who have high negative emotion about AI and low information. Sean saying there is a pushback in some corners, but they really just lack knowledge. What's the advice there, Xiaochen?
Yeah, so let's go back to AI 2030. Why did we just started even from beginning? Because we saw that's exactly the gap where that's from a although we focused on responsible AI, but just for AI side, a lot of similar gaps. And when we talk about mainstream responsible AI or even mainstream AI, and then naturally, we are looking at different gaps existing in the system. Number one is the awareness gap. And number two is the talent gap. Number three is the tooling gap. No matter you just want to take on AI or take AI responsibly, and you need to first just raising awareness that from the leadership to your technical level, and everyone need to really just aware of how to do AI or how to do AI responsibly. That's just at the leadership level for both public and private sector. And we organize a lot of events and promote different membership, give empower members to really just raising awareness on AI. Then from the talent side, that's you need to really resource the right talent to be able to do it, help you to think, help you to do it, help you even to report back. So there, that's from the looking at in your city and what is the key AI related problems, and align the right innovators around it to provide that tooling, and that is very important. I'm involved as a core partner for United Nations Climate Change Convention, and then to for UNCCC to promote future desirable green city, and then they're planning for the city challenge, with the city challenge to map out what are the desirable outcome that the mayors in different emerging market cities are thinking, and then to bring the right innovation using the challenge to match them. And that's a good example how the tooling side the gap can be filled. Then the last one is from the the talent part, from training, and from the private sector side, that we identified a number of key change makers, like board of directors, executives. Those are the people who really make significant decisions and whose knowledge are not there or whose awareness are not there. And then we, in July, we are going to deliver the responsible AI for board of director training, and then to enable board of director to have the right framework, to really help, the company they advise to move forward, not backward, to take on AI responsibly. And I think those are the key things, help them to address awareness, talent, and tooling gaps. Those are the things that what we do, and we have seen early result, engaging with different businesses.
Geez, where else can you get such a well thought out answer, on that, aside from Xiaochen and here on Everyday AI? But Xiaochen, you said a lot about your city, but speaking of our city, Chicago, we're both from Chicago, so your kind of group is putting on the Chicago AI Week starting June 24th. So we'll be sharing about that in the newsletter today. I'm excited to be chairing a panel there. But Xiaochen, as as we wrap up, right, because we've covered so much, talking about how traditional job security doesn't exist anymore and how on the flip side, cities can be using AI to create new economic opportunities and how it's almost like a go-to-market strategy. But Xiaochen, as we wrap up today's show, what's the one main takeaway that you want people to understand when it comes to how AI can create new economic opportunities?
Yeah, I think, probably the easy way for me to do that is, come to join us, on June 25th to 26th, to check out the Chicago AI conference, and then also join the 1871 AI Innovation Summit on June 27th. And then we have June 28th, the Web3 Con. And the reason why we designed this week-long program is that no single person should just, give any, individual, business, or government a strategy. And just, to blend yourself in a community, and a community of innovators, a community of thought leaders, a community of, doers. And I think there, during this week-long program, we bring the Web3 related experts, financial service, healthcare, media, and all coming together. I think that is a unique, opportunity where that if anyone want to learn about AI and want to just, also do something to, enhance the contributivity of your faith in, in not being disrupted, and also develop a strategy and know that who you can collaborate with. I think that is just from one time investment, and you will be able to expose to all of them.
Xiaochen, so much good information as always. It was great to have you on the Everyday AI Show. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. As a reminder, a lot of great information. We're going to be sharing a lot more about what Xiaochen talked about and other related things in today's newsletter. So make sure, check out your show notes. It's always there, or just go to youreverydayai.com. Sign up for that free daily newsletter. Thank you for tuning in today. We hope to see you back tomorrow and every day for more Everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for today's edition of Everyday AI. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a rating. It helps keep us going. For a little more AI magic, visit youreverydayai.com and sign up to our daily newsletter so you don't get left behind. Go break some barriers, and we'll see you next time.